Sit back and relax, Capricorn rising signs of the zodiac, because we are talking about the astrology for the month of August 2025 for you. I'm going deep. I'm going to be taking my time to explain the astrology, planets in transits, and what's going on for you in this month of August. I'm Cosmic Girl. How you doing? And thank you for being here. Thank you for your ongoing support as a subscriber. If you're new to this channel, thank you so much for clicking on and tuning into the cosmos with Cosmic Girl 101. Okay, so I'm going to talk about your chart ruler opening up the video because this is your avatar in this incarnation, if you will. And wherever Saturn, your chart ruler, is transiting, whatever natal house it is transiting through, if that natal house is conducive to your personality, your fit or not, it's going to affect your body, your health, your image, how you appear. It's got a lot to do with your identity, the natal first house, and new starts, new beginnings. That's your natal first house. And if you're a Capricorn rising sign, then your chart ruler is squaring you. It's in the natal fourth house of Aries, and Mars and Saturn, these two planets in themselves, are about dead stops, conflict, hard no's. And this can be a lot to digest with a transit such as this. And I will be taking my time. So if you don't like dense, intimate, in depth astrological information about your rising sign being Capricorn, then this information may not be for you. It's maybe not be your jam. I appreciate that. No offense whatsoever. But it's important for me as an astrologer to do my utmost best to give you quality astrological information. And there's bigger things going on in the background with your chart ruler Saturn, closely configured to Neptune, a lot going on in natal fourth house, an angular part of your chart, a lot going on in your natal seventh house, an angular part of your chart, and it's big astrology for you. So I am doing my utmost professional best to deliver you concise, practical astrological information. Okay, with that said, let's talk about your chart ruler Saturn retrograding in Aries, because that's what your chart ruler is doing. Retrograding, it's in its retrograde phase. It's not your chart ruler's first rodeo. Saturn retrogrades every year, 4, 5, up to 6 months annually. This is not new stuff for your chart ruler Saturn to do. But when your chart ruler Saturn is in the retrograde phase, then the retrograde phase indicates for you for the month of August, closely configured to retrograde Neptune in that natal fourth house of Aries, that subterranean part of your chart of things that you deal with in private. They're not really public. This is the house of home, domestic life, family, real estate, property, heritage, your roots, lineage, parents, parenting, and how you parent yourself. A lot going on in all the natal houses when we really get down to brass tacks. So, for you, Capricorn rising signs, for the whole month of August, chart ruler Saturn and Neptune are retrograding closely together in the natal fourth house of Aries, which is Mars's sign of rulership. And the fact that Mars and Saturn are different in archetypal nature, if you will, your chart ruler Saturn is a, a, a planet that likes to take its time. It really doesn't rush in where angel spirited tread. Well, it depends really on your own natal placement of your Saturn. So knowing your own birth chart really will help you. But Saturn archetypally is known to be very deliberate, takes its time, doesn't rush in where angels speed a tread. It's got that wisdom component. It's very sage like, it's mature, it's deliberate, it's got all the patience in the world to a certain degree. Saturn is a very mystical, magical planet. Congratulations, Capricorn rising sign. You have a very sophisticated, nuanced planet for you as a chart ruler. But when it is in Mars's temple, which it is for the month of August, closely configured to Neptune, the planet of illusion, delusion, dissolving, imagination, fantasy, it's very mystical in itself as well. But with mystical visions and ideologies and idealism, there has to be some sort of realism to make something crystallize. And that's why it's also beneficial right now that your chart ruler Saturn retrograde is so closely configured to Neptune retrograde. You'll be able to see the forest for the trees and be very realistic and practical about what's going on behind closed doors in the natal fourth house of what we just talked about, home, family, etc., etc. So the outer planets Neptune, Pluto, Uranus, Saturn, and Jupiter are the slower planets in our solar system. And these planets in of themselves, inclusive of yours, your chart ruler Saturn, these planets play out really long stories. They're like the key protagonists. So you could be thinking in any part of the journey of your life, for example, wow, things are going really, really well here, but there's another part of your life that just seems to be lagging, or there's something always stirring in the background going on that's like irritating. Well, that's because the solar planets have a reputation for playing longer stories out in a part of your natal chart, even though another part of your chart is amazing. So with that in mind, and your chart ruler Saturn and Neptune retrograding in Aries is squaring your natal seventh house of relationships and other people. Jupiter's here until the 30th of June 2026. So for 1 year, with a bit of breathing space, because chart rulers Saturn and Neptune will be retrograding out of Aries and going back into your natal third house, which is Pisces, where your chart ruler and Neptune have spent quite some time. But until now, at least until the 7th of, no, excuse me, the 1st of September this year, chart ruler Saturn is squaring Jupiter in the natal seventh house. So these natal angular houses are really significant. These transits are potent. Nothing to sneeze at. Now, don't mean to lay it on thick here, but I'm really giving you the lay of the land. And if you're thinking, wow, my friends are going really well, my social life is really good, but there's all this tension going on with my relationships and other people, and it's impacting my home and my family life. It's impacting my sleep, and it's just a lot going on. Even though my social life is amazing, and I've got all these travel plans, going on, and I've got all these investment opportunities, and money's pretty good. But those planets that really do play out over very long periods of time are the key protagonists filtering in the background. And that's why you might be feeling some tension with relationships and other people, and it's affecting the home and family unit and what goes on behind closed doors. So if you're experiencing conflict, intellectual density, like a lot of communication, lots of almost feels like with your chart ruler and Neptune retrograding here for the month of August, with it being ruled, if you will, by Mars. Mars is a planet of just let's be action oriented, and that creates conflict, and there can be war, literal war in the family, or things like dividing property through fences, etc. At Mars's function archetypally is to create friction and war and tension. Take action. Mars is very strategic, but strategic in navigating how to get what it wants very quickly, and will bulldoze and leave a lot of collateral damage behind it. So I'm grateful, and as an astrology enthusiast, which I assume you are, I'm very grateful that Neptune and Saturn are so closely configured in Mars's temple of conflict in that natal fourth house, retrograde, where you can patiently see things, illusions, and distraction that's been going on. So, information that's been missing in action might be really coming hard and fast at you now within the family unit, or about property issues, your parents, how you nurture and parent yourself. Because the natal fourth house squares the first house, which is Capricorn rising. So it's a very long introduction, but if you're here to listen and to understand what's going on with a chart ruler, this is what's going on for Saturn for the whole month of August. Neptune and Saturn are in Mars's temple. There's a lot of friction, there's a lot of action, there's a lot of conflict, there's a lot of mental dexterity and paperwork and lots of things to nut out and talk about and communicate about. And that can be a lot because it squares the first house of you. You may be questioned or called into action with the chart ruler in the natal fourth house. Maybe a more prominent role in the family at this time, whether you're dealing with estate issues or nutting out things within the family unit. You might be seen as someone that knows their stuff, or hey, we need you to step up to the plate in some capacity. With this transit, I wouldn't be too surprised. But with Neptune so closely configured to your chart ruler Saturn, even though Neptune can be about visions and illusion and delusion, and maybe you're having some profound dreams as well, or your sleep is disrupted with this transit because Neptune's so close. And it's an interesting combination, but this is a really, really long story playing out for you. And it's retrograding for the whole month of August next to Neptune, squaring your first house, squaring your seventh house of relationships and other people. So that subterranean part of your chart from the first house to the seventh house, this is where the action's happening, if you will, for the Capricorn rising signs. And it's really got not a lot to do with the public. It's things that you know that are familiar to you that go on behind closed doors, or sort of what's almost secondhand nature to you. Because from the seventh to the first house, that subterranean part of the natal chart is not public. So you're really nutting things out. I would surmise, astrologically at least, that you're really all up in it as a Capricorn rising sign. Where's home? Who's my family? How do I look after myself with all of this rush, conflict, talking, getting down to brass tacks about the more denser things regarding property and wills and parents, and there's a lot. That's a lot to deal with, especially when it's squaring your first house, affecting your body, your health, your identity, what you want to start. So you might want to start new things, and there's all these things going on in the family that make you go, I can't start. How can I start anything when there's so much to deal with? So it can be a lot astrologically, and they're longer stories playing out. So your finances and your travel house, and you might be learning and moving around a lot and a lot of social events, but there's all these things simmering behind the scenes. Longer stories playing out here for the Capricorn rising signs. So that is like your footnote for the video. If you're here as a Capricorn, what's going on for me this month? That's what's going on for you. You're really going over old ground, hashing things out, doing your very best to keep your head afloat and have your shit together, if you will, while all of this action's going on behind closed doors and beneath the surface on the daily. A lot. So put that in your back pocket, and now we're going to talk about the planets in transits. Okay, so Jupiter and Venus are still transiting in your natal seventh house of Cancer for the month of August. Venus will move on from Cancer, your natal seventh house, and ingress into your natal eighth house come the 25th of the month. But opening up the month of August to the 25th, you've got two benefic planets transiting in the natal seventh house, that angular part of your natal house, where relationships and other people are really the focus here. Whether you're leaning on professionals, clients, getting help from people, people that have an expertise, maybe family, maybe therapy, counseling, mothers, relationships with parents. Maybe you're considering being a parent if you're not. You may be dealing with a lot of emotional intensity with the partnership, or maybe marriage is on your mind with Venus and Jupiter transiting in your natal seventh house. So, that natal seventh house, there's so much love and beauty going on there with the two benefic planets, Jupiter and Venus, working in unison together. And then it's squaring that fourth house and opposing your first house. So it just feels like it's just hard to have good relationships and such a great time when there's all this other stuff brewing beneath the surface. It just feels very disappointing astrologically that you may not be having the best of the best Jupiter Venus transit. And I'm not being a Debbie Downer. I'm being a realist, because I'm not going to embellish it and go, oh my God, you're getting married, you're going to have all these love affairs, you're going to be showered with all these gifts, it's going to be absolutely amazing. That doesn't serve anyone being animated and banging on about the benefics in the seventh house. It's the natal seventh house of Cancer, where other people in relationships are very protective of their emotions and feelings and very prepared to run their own race. And it's squaring that natal fourth house, squaring your chart ruler and Neptune retrograde in Aries, the zodiac sign of conflict and war. So it's not the juiciest, but you do have the benefics cruising through your seventh house. So take the sweets with the sours when you're having really good days and really good moments with clients and professionals, or doing whatever you're doing. When you have good days, enjoy it. When you have bad days, meh, you still get up and you go on with the next day. I just don't think it's overly roses on the bed every day and amazing sex every day. I think it's going to be a little bit different because both the benefics are squaring your chart ruler, Saturn retrograde in Aries. Sorry to be a Debbie Downer, but doesn't serve me or you to hand something up. And look, if things are absolutely amazeballs, then please put it in the comments section below and go, you are so off. And I'll just go, fantastic, good for you. Because that will have a lot to do and be very subjective to you when it comes to your own natal planets and where they're positioned when we're talking about planets in transits. So know your own natal chart. Highly advised. Uranus is cruising through Gemini for the month of August. Again, another outer planet simmering in the background, another key protagonist, really stirring things up in your natal sixth house of work, service, health, sickness, injury, slavery, and labor. Sound fun? Absolutely not. But we get up every day and we have a shower, we brush our teeth, we feed the dog, we get in the car, we drive to work, we cook dinner, we do the laundry, and we don't get a fanfare for it. That's the natal sixth house where it's just do, chop wood, carry water, do, do, do. And Uranus is here for the whole month of August. And in Gemini, Uranus can be a lot. So you're on astrological notice, if you will, to expect abrupt changes on the daily that can feel very intense, and expect to take some quick left turns in regards to committing so heavily to something. If you are committing to anything contractual, read the fine print. That's my human advice, because Uranus and Gemini can be very chaotic and very trickster like. So Uranus in your natal sixth house is really stirring up things on the daily. And that doesn't really help when you've got so much going on in your seventh house and your fourth house. But Uranus is a slower moving planet. It's an outer planet and a generational planet. So this also indicates that you might be looking at your daily routines in a different way as well. Maybe thinking or considering, how can you let your money work for you instead of you work for your money, kind of transit as well, which is quite good. So for the whole month, Uranus really is sextiling retrograde Saturn, your chart ruler, and sextiling retrograde Neptune in Aries in your natal fourth house. And being outer planets, you're not going to really feel things so acutely, I don't think. I could be wrong because they're slower moving planets. But with the sextiles, meaning that it's easy to connect the daily routines and things that are being changed up there, it's easy to affect the home life. So if you're having really a hard time with like an injury, or you accidents, or you've got that chronic pain that really, it's going to disrupt your sleep. It's going to disrupt how you chill out at home. So even though they're slower moving planets, they still can connect easily by a sextile. Sextile is easy to have a relationship with. So it can be a transit where you may be feeling like the physical lethargy of overcommitting with this transit. And if you are feeling that, then try not to overcommit. Know your limits. As a Saturn ruled zodiac sign, as a rising sign, I'm not assuming you don't know your limits. But when we've got to get a job done and we're dependent on, that we've just got to do it. We said we were going to show up. But if your body's responding in kind, going, I'm stopping, you've got no choice but to listen. So it can be a transit where things can be very chaotic on the daily, and it really starts to rub up against your home life or how you sleep and rest. So easy does it. Pluto's retrograding in Aquarius in your natal second house. Again, another outer planet that's the key protagonist filtering around in the background, and it's sextiling that natal fourth house where your chart ruler Saturn and Neptune are retrograding, but it trines that natal sixth house where Uranus is. So Pluto retrograding in your natal second house from the 1st to the 12th of the month. So this is where we're getting into the chronological astrology from here on. My bad, I should have said that. From the 1st to the 12th, Pluto is sextiling your chart ruler Saturn. So this is an easy connection. So this is beneficial, if you will, to put pen to paper about your finances. Where are the financial opportunities? What are your assets? What are your possessions? What do you need to get down to brass tacks about when it comes to what's coming in and out of your daily checking account? Is money being hemorrhaged? Or do you need to at least acknowledge, maybe I haven't really been going down that financial rabbit hole? And from the 1st to the 12th, because Pluto's sextiling your chart ruler Saturn retrograde, you might have a moment to digest and look at paperwork, your financial deeds, anything regarding assets and possessions. It would be a fortuitous transit to take your time to look at your financial health from the 1st to the 12th of August. From the 1st to the 31st, so for the whole month, practically Pluto is sextiling Neptune retrograde in Aries in your natal fourth house. So with Pluto and Neptune speaking in harmony the whole month, well, again, this can be getting down to brass tacks about your financial health, your livelihood, how it benefits your home, family, domestic life. What do you need to do to create more rest and peace for yourself at the end of the day? Neptune, all about sleep and dreams and chilling out, and can be a lot as well, where you might be dreaming about money or your livelihood or assets. You might be having prophetic dreams, or your dreams might be a little bit disrupted, or your dream space and how your sleep patterns are disrupted because of your money situation or your livelihood. So quite interesting. On the 1st, we also have Venus squaring off with your chart ruler, retrograde Saturn and retrograde Neptune. So with Venus functioning really well in Cancer, in that angular part of your natal chart, the 7th house, with Jupiter until the 25th at least this month, think of a square as there's a conflict, there's a tension. And so it's Venus in the natal seventh house. So this is other people and relationships just having frustration. And you may be getting phone calls, emails, you might be getting text messages on the first where everyone's just like standing on the soapbox going, "Oh, I'm not getting attention and I can't believe this is happening." And it might really be ruining you chilling out at home, or they're complaining about family. It's that sort of day when Venus is just going, "No, no, 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 no. I'm not happy. I'm not happy. I'm not happy." And it really could be ruffling your beautiful feathers. So easy does it on the first can be a lot coming at you from outside where people are just so grumpy. On the 6th, we have Mars ingressing into Venus's sign being Libra. And this ingress is happening in your 10th house. Again, Capricorn rising, this is an angular part of your natal chart. You had transits in 10th house, 7th house, and your 4th house. If there's not something going on for Capricorn rising signs, I'd be very surprised. Okay. Again, you need to know your own natal planets as well, your own natal chart. So Mars in Libra in your natal 10th house begins on the 6th of the month, 6th of August to the 22nd of September. Interesting. Okay. When Mars, the planet of war and conflict, which is the ruler of that natal 4th house, where your chart ruler is Saturn and Neptune are retrograding in Aries, is transiting in the natal 10th house. This will be interesting because that 10th house opposes the 4th house. So just take a deep breath here. From the 6th to the 22nd of September, take a deep breath, take a pause in the video and go, far out, this is a lot, Cosmic Girl. Well, first of all, you're welcome. And second of all, this is important stuff astrologically for you. With Mars in the natal 10th, opposing his own sign of rulership, Aries, where Mars is in detriment in the zodiac sign of Libra, which is a Venus-ruled zodiac sign. This is where it becomes really interesting because if Mars is opposing its own zodiac sign in the natal 10th house, then what I can surmise astrologically at the very least for you, Capricorn rising signs, is Mars is going to be less in conflict about going to work, getting a job done, dealing with officialdom, dealing with your professional arena. So, how I liken this, speaking from a very human one on one conversation, I would say, oh, Capricorn rising, it's the best thing ever that you're going to work with all this crap going on behind closed doors and with relationships. It's like, yeah, I'm going to work. Best way to deal with this is I need to work. I'm built for work. I've got things to create and build. And this is such a good transit from the 6th of August to the 22nd of September to really get cracking on putting your best foot forward when it comes to your career space. Mars is in detriment in Libra. In short, doesn't function well in Libra. So it's not behaving like itself. Mars is behaving like Venus. Mars is in Venus's temple. So the ferocious, conflict-oriented Mars is sort of the wind's taken out of his sails. So that means the home life can be a little more tempered. And you wake up every morning now from the 6th to the 22nd of September and go, oh, I didn't go to work. Actually, I had a good night's sleep, or maybe you didn't. But it's easy to deal with anything of a official capacity, getting a job done, concentrating on your career, market, promote yourself. Really good for that. Putting your best foot forward in showing up and showing the boss and showing the people and your clients. Yeah, that's right. I'm the shit. I'm the guy you can depend on. And we know there's all these other things brewing but this might be really indicative astrologically for you come the 6th of August that you may be feeling a little cagey and you might be throwing yourself into work with this transit with Mars in your natal 10th house from the 6th to the 22nd of September. Again, feel free to leave any comments in the comment section below. But you can hear the astrology 10th, 7th, 4th house, angular parts of your natal chart. And these are all cardinal zodiac signs, but these signs are all about taking action. And you've got these oppositions and squares. So it's like, there's just so many things to nut out. Okay, so on the 6th, we also have when Mars does ingress into Venus's temple of Libra, right at the top of your natal chart, it's actually trining outer planet Uranus in your natal 6th house. So this is probably really beneficial on the 6th to mm, again, repeating what I said before earlier about Uranus and Gemini can be a little bit convoluted, just has too many intellectual fingers in too many intellectual pies. This might be a good day to realize you can just cut down on over delivering, if you will, on the 6th, sort of knowing your stuff enough to cut away from things that are too laborious and tedious and taking up too much time. So the 6th is really good to come to peace, if you will, with letting go of things in your daily space that really do drive you nuts and want to pull your hair out. Really good for that on the 6th. We also have Mars, excuse me, again, opposing Saturn retrograde and Neptune retrograde, which we talked about. So this is also about, a job's got to be done and it's going to take me away from home, but I'm committed. I've got a job to do. I've got to get cracking on my ambitions, my professional arena. And if there's something in an official capacity that's going on regarding an authority figure or someone really laying down the anvil on the 6th of August, um, learn to communicate well, don't shut down. Or if it's something, for better words, more urgent, then please read the fine print and be very aware of what's going on when anything of an official capacity comes across your table on the 6th of August. This could be like the contract, the dream contract that you get, but it takes you away from your family life for 12 months. Right now, you might be really happy with that, but you do you. It's that kind of thing. Read the fine print on the 6th. On the 9th, we have our first lunation of the month, and it's a full moon in Aquarius. And this one's at 17 degrees. So again, know your own natal planets. And this is lighting up that natal second house where Pluto's retrograde and Mars and Pluto are actually trining one another on the day of this lunation. So that's quite nice. Yeah, I like this for being emotionally intelligent, making really emotional, intelligent moves regarding your financial position. It's great for cashing in on an asset and possession, finally get rid of the Barbie collection or the Pokemon card collection that you've had since you're 7. It's that kind of full moon where you can emotionally know and let go or something that, it's run its course. And you can just go, that's as far as I can go with this regarding an asset or possession or my livelihood or how I'm feeling within my finances. I need to get into something new and maybe I'm ready to let go of an asset or a possession. And it can be emotionally bittersweet when we're talking about things that we hold of value. But at times, we gotta let it be. Let go and let be. And on the 9th of August, it might be one of those days. On the 11th, Mercury stations to go direct. So it's been in a retrograde and it goes direct in Leo at 4 degrees in your natal 8th house. And Mercury's been working really hard in Leo, really showing you where there's been too much indulgence, where you need to rein things in financially with you in a partnership potentially. But now going direct on the 11th at 4 degrees, maybe reflect back to the 29th or 30th of June this year, because that's when Mercury began its shadow period retrograde. It started to retrograde at 4 degrees around that time. So something about the 29th, 30th of June might be resurfacing about inheritance, death, and death doesn't have to literally mean a physical death, although it can. Welcome to planet Earth, we're born to die. But death can be like the end of like a conflict, the end of a debt, the end of a mortgage, the end of a marriage, the end of a gym membership, the end of a cooking class. There's many things that we can end representing death. Then you don't always have to go be a West. We don't always have to be such Westerners and go, oh my God, everyone's going to die. No, not at all. But depends on your own natal chart as well. You do you regarding understanding your own natal chart. But Mercury going direct, maybe there's something that happened on the 29th or 30th of June this year where you now start to see, for better words, the forest for the trees or a resolution regarding you and others and how you are entangled in something. So you might have been really going through the steps, if you will, with someone or someone close to you is really going through a transformation. And now on the 11th, moving forward, things can start to settle down what was ever going on around the 29th or 30th of June. And when Mercury does go direct in loud, proud Leo, Mercury is sextiling Mars in your natal 10th house. So this is really good for financial benefit or something of an official capacity really coming to a closure or starting to come to some sort of peaceful resolution. So nice on the 11th. And Mars is sextiling Mercury until the 18th from the 11th. So a whole week could be really wrapping up something official, something to do with your career or something financial, really quite nice for you. And on the same day, the 11th of August, Venus and Jupiter are conjunct in Cancer in your natal 7th house at 13 degrees. So astrologically, I don't think the 11th of August is anything to proverbially sneeze at. There's a lot going on here. Now, when the two benefics conjunct one another, and yes, check your natal planets. Do you have anything at 13 degrees of Cancer? This is going to be a biggie. It's when the two benefics conjunct and start a new cycle. This is heart and unity, passion, growth, all available, connected to relationships, other people, marriage. Anything that you want to sign on the line, put a ring on it, shake hands. This deal that may be really quite prominent on the 11th of August for you Capricorn rising signs has longevity and can go the emotional distance that serves you and or them. So I think this is a really big day for you on the 11th of August. Again, feel free to leave any comments in the comment section below. I think it's going to be really good. It's really positive with Mercury direct in Leo, with Mars, the ruler, Libra being Venus' sign of rulership. Yeah, and Venus and Jupiter are conjunct. This could be very big for I'm getting engaged, I'm getting married, or I'm getting divorced, maybe. Or I've just landed a massive contract, or I finally officially let go of a financial entanglement that's been part of my public identity for a very long time. Big day. Enjoy it. From the 12th to the 31st, Uranus, and I mentioned this before, is trining Pluto. So the natal sixth house and the second house are in a trine aspect. And this bodes really well for, again, just getting rid of the wheat and the chaff, that's minutia that's weighing you down, and understanding your assets, possessions, life, your financial health and your physical health is super important. And with Uranus trining Pluto retrograde from the 6th to the 2nd, then this may be where you really start benefiting from knowing what needs to let go when it's your sense of service and work and your health, and it benefits you in some capacity with Uranus trining retrograde Pluto from the 12th to the 31st. This astrologically looks like an offer to improve your health, whether it's surgery or maybe you can. I'm sort of thinking maybe you sort of laid down to rest something that was an asset or resource with peace between the 12th and the 31st. So big discussions, I think, are going on for you as a Cap rising. On the 22nd, the sun ingresses into Virgo. So the sun is the ruler of the 8th house of Leo, where it's been transiting for 4 weeks prior. So I would surmise astrologically for the Capricorn rising sign, shared finances, death and inheritance has certainly been a focus. But the sun functions very, very well in Leo. It's its sign of domicile. So you would have been very, for better astrological words, aware of overindulgence, where the financial benefits are. Maybe a partner has really elevated their status regarding their financial opportunities. Death and inheritance has been easy to deal with, maybe deeds, policies, life insurance papers, things of those nature may have been easier to deal with the sun transiting in Leo. But on the 22nd, when the sun now ingresses into Virgo, into your natal ninth house for 4 weeks, then this is lighting up the part of your chart about faith, belief, and holding on to something you can't see. This is where we dream and we have visions about our future and we get curious about life. And the sun, very curious about showing you where the opportunity is and where life is and where the spirit is of life. So for 4 weeks, the sun in Virgo is really showing you, if you will, what it's going to take, self-belief, to get to places that you want to get to, whether that be physically, spiritually, metaphysically. It's the house of expansion and growth, the natal ninth house. Now, the sun in the Hellenistic planetary joy system found its joy in the natal ninth house. So for 4 weeks, the sun is well positioned, again, coming out of its own domicile sign of Leo through the Hellenistic planetary joy system scheme. Anyway, so the sun's functioning very well. It's in the house of God. Yeah. So religion, esotericism might really start ticking your boxes from the 22nd moving forward for 4 weeks. And it's really asking you to have faith and belief in getting a job well done, whether that be a student, a teacher, learning something esoteric, getting into faith and religion and belief, maybe creating daily practices to remind yourself you're a spiritual being as well as a physical one, planning travel, trips, maybe go back to school, learn something foreign, something that's foreign to you, a culture, food. You might want to start going out to restaurants and tasting different foods with this transit. It's a beautiful one. Enjoy it for 4 weeks with the sun in Virgo in your natal ninth house. All it takes is belief. And for some, it's really difficult to do that. Oh, yeah, I can believe in that. But yeah, Virgo, being Virgo, the ninth house, and sort of need to see results. But Virgo also is very tough. It's a tough zodiac sign in as much as it rolls up its sleeves to get a job done. It's the zodiac sign of service. So you may also, as a Capricorn rising sign, be considering, what's my part in all of this? What's the bigger picture? And how am I an instrument and part of what's going on in my life? So it can be really quite intellectually dense for you with this transit as well. I can't skim over the possibilities of that, even though the sun is well positioned, but you might be really asking yourself some big questions with the sun transiting in Virgo. In your natal ninth house from the 22nd of August to September 22nd. Heads up, Capricorn rising signs. After September 22nd, for 4 weeks, the sun's going in your natal 10th house with Mars in Libra. Why am I saying this? Because the sun is well positioned in the 10th house, and this is shining a light of your leadership abilities. So your public name, your identity, your career and professional arena, anything to do with authority, the house of achievements. So for 4 weeks, you may be really pulling on, can I pull something off with this job? Can I really work those hours to go on that overseas trip? Can I really do what I want to do to learn what I want with an esoteric practice? Going to university, or can I really be a teacher? Can I really? That transit is going to be really important for you with the sun in the natal ninth, and then it progresses into the natal 10th, where it's all about stepping up to the plate. And Venus is sign Libra with Mars. Very, very interesting. I really sincerely hope you're enjoying this astrology video for you Capricorn rising signs, because I'm thoroughly enjoying it. I can astrologically see, if you will, what's happening, and it's important stuff going on for you, but really good stuff. Okay, on the 23rd, after the sun ingresses into Virgo, there is a new moon, and this is at 0 degrees of Virgo conjunct the fixed star Regulus. So the 23rd of August, for all of us, we have a very significant new moon. The fixed star Regulus is the star of royalty and fame and power. And you have a new beginning, very quiet new beginning, on the 23rd. And it's in that natal ninth house of belief and faith. What's your moral and ethical compass? What do you believe in? What am I here for? Travel, foreigners, foreign places, higher education, institutions. It's a natal house where we really turn water into wine with our dreams, and we have our esoteric practices, and we work really hard to make our big lofty dreams and goals reality. We have to engage in higher places to get experience and learn philosophy about life. But with this new moon conjunct fixed star Regulus at 0 degrees of Virgo on the 23rd, this is a moment for you to consciously take some quiet time for yourself. And there's a lot going on for the Capricorn rising signs. But if you can mark any date in your calendar astrologically for the month of August, the 23rd would be the day. Because this is a quiet moment. We've got the Jupiter exalted in the moon sign of Cancer in the natal 7th house of others and relationships. And it's sextiling the natal 9th house. So we've got Jupiter really helping the moon's cycles. And with the new moon in the natal 9th house of yes, you can. This takes me back to a children's show that I used to watch with my children in Australia called Bob the Builder. Can we fix it? Yes, we can. It's that kind of ninth house. Yes, we can. Can we? Yes, we can. Where we make our dreams a reality by expanding and connecting to things that we perceive are bigger than us, like faith and religion and esoteric practices, higher institutions, universities, community colleges, foreigners and foreign places, travel destinations, pilgrimages. It's a beautiful house, the natal ninth house, and with this gorgeous new moon conjunct fixed star Regulus, the fixed star of power and royalty. Wow, it's got all the ingredients, if you will, with Jupiter in the moon sign, sextiling the ninth house from the 7th house. It's got all the ingredients, if you will, to emotionally feel confident about shaking hands, signing on the dotted line, putting a ring on it, and committing to something or to someone that you would otherwise think I can't. And you start a brand new start. It could be a new environment. It could be something to do with your physical body. It could be your mother or how you mother yourself. This day is where you go, I'm going to love me and I'm going to love what I love with complete faith and trust that I'm heading in the right direction. Beautiful new moon. Take a beat on the 23rd. The next day, on the 24th, the sun has a standoff, a square with Uranus. So, this day may be a day where you do question your faith. And I sincerely mean that with this alignment. The sun in the natal ninth house of faith and belief, yes, you can, is squaring and has a tension with something connected to service, work, your daily routines, maybe your health. And you're going, no, I can't. Or you get a no. No, you can't do this. You can't go there right now. You can't do this right now. It can be very, very irritating, and it's going to take a lot of gumption for you to get past this day of irritation on the 24th of August. On the 25th, Venus now ingresses into Leo, the sun sign, the natal 8th house, until September 19. Venus functions very well in Leo, but in your natal 8th house of shared resources and financial connections and obligations, and a natal house of death and inheritance, this can be a lively transit from the 25th to the September 19. Now, Venus only runs towards what she's attracted to. She's interested in connecting and uniting. And in Leo, she can definitely bite off more than she can chew, but she knows her worth and can see the value in something that would otherwise be seen as a little bit too much. So this can be buying a bigger diamond ring than you expected, or paying a little bit more than you expected or you wanted to, with Venus in Leo in your financial house. If you have a financial partner, then a partner could be very exuberant and overindulgent with Venus in the natal 8th house. It can be a little tricky. If you've got shared finances and someone's decided, well, I'm going to upgrade the whole lounge room, and you're like, hang on a minute, I didn't say we could afford that. And they're going, oh, it will be okay. It's that sort of transit. Depends how much of a humour you've got, which as a Capricorn rising, I am more than confident you've got a fabulous sense of humour. But Venus also in the natal 8th house of death and inheritance, then this can get really sticky with people being quite almost dominant about what's theirs, whose, what's yours, what's mine. So a heads up there with Venus and Leo in your natal 8th house dealing with the topics and subjects of death and inheritance. Just some friendly astrological advice. When Venus does ingress into your natal 8, she's trining your chart ruler Saturn and Neptune in Aries. Great. So this also means that even though some things may be a little bit indulgent and a little bit too much, I think you might be up for a surprise on this day that you may be a little overwhelmed to receive something, is what I'm getting astrologically here. You might be very, oh, I can't believe this is said and done. You finally end something, or you get a financial benefit that really does improve your sense of security or what you deal with within home and family and your domestic life. Quite lovely when Venus trines your chart ruler Saturn retrograde and Neptune retrograde on the 25th. She also is smiling nicely to Uranus in Gemini in your natal 6th house. So this also looks fantastic for a complete turnaround in your daily life, just becoming a little bit more easier to deal with. So this looks all what I'm hypothesizing here through the lens of astrology for the Caps rising is you're putting something to bed, and it's financially benefiting you or the home or the family or your daily grind. Quite lovely. But she does oppose on the 25th retrograde Pluto in that natal second house. Well, it can't all be good, can it? That's the astrology. That's life. So, We've got to take the ups, we've got to take the downs, and we've got to feel our way through all of it. So when Venus is defiantly looking across the sky from your natal eighth house to retrograde Pluto in your natal second house, then this can be about actual money conflict. So know your stuff, especially when it comes to financial commitments and contracts. Read the fine print, know the facts and the figures. So when someone's opposing you financially, then you just simply produce the paperwork. That's the deed. That was the contract. It's that sort of day where it could be a little high highs, low lows. That's your astrology for the month of August. I trust you have a fabulous one. I really sincerely hope you enjoyed the astrology report. I know there was a lot of info, but we've got such big astrology happening right now. And I am more than happy to deliver it in my best, my astrological capacity for you as a Capricorn rising sign and for every zodiac sign for that matter. And yes, if you haven't listened to that Jupiter transit Cancer for the Capricorn rising signs, go back on my channel and you'll find that video. You'll get a lot of good astrological information about that transit. It might really help you understand what's going on in that natal seventh house, which I can't keep repeating every month with the monthlies. I only do it a little bit. So you'll benefit if you haven't gone back and listened to that video. Please do so. Totally encourage you if you are an astrology enthusiast. It's a big transit. It's your natal seventh house on the angular part of your natal chart. Okay, I'll leave it there, Capricorn rising signs. Till next time, stay cosmic.